Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome all of you to our daily COVID-19 update for the town of Plymouth. This is update number 23. It's coming to you live on Monday, April 13th, 2020. I'm Steve Triffletti, your Plymouth Town Moderator, and we'll be here each day, Monday through Friday at noon for this update. This forum is being brought to you live by PAC TV at Comcast channels 13 and 15 and Verizon channels 43 and 47. You can also watch this on PAC TV's streaming channel by going to pactv.org/live. For questions today, for today's forum, please email us at plymouthinfo@pactv.org. These forums will be replayed at pactv.org/Plymouth. And today, we welcome our participants. They'll be joining Ken Tavares, Matthew Muratore, and I, and they include Matthew McDonough. He is the Registrar of Plymouth County Probate Court. Ann Dunn, she is the Director of Assessing for the town of Plymouth. Jennifer Harris, she is the Library Director for the town of Plymouth. John Vincent, who is a member of the Board of Directors for the Massachusetts Funeral Directors Association. Amy Naples, Executive Director for the Plymouth Area Chamber of Commerce. And each day we begin with an opening statement from Kenneth Tavares, Chair of the Board of Selectmen. Welcome, Ken.
Thank you, Steve. Good afternoon, everyone. A couple of very quick announcements. First, we, on behalf of the Board of Selectmen, would like to thank the Plymouth Police Department for escorting the Easter Bunny through the neighborhoods of Plymouth. There were many favorable comments, and there were a number of smiles on people's faces. So thank you to the Plymouth Police Department and its association. Also, we want to, if you haven't heard, inform the public that we're supposed to have some very heavy winds in the afternoon. And we ask that you just be prepared with maybe a saw or two somewhere nearby, as well as flashlights, just in case they're needed. The Department of Public Works has been very busy this past work, putting up signs, barrels, and doing smaller projects. We appreciate all of the work that these devoted employees have put in. They're actively working to keep the town safe and operating, including a special shout out to the solid waste staff for their commitment to keep the transfer station running. The board would like to, and the town manager would like to remind the public to please work with our Plymouth Police Department. They are looking at locations where more than 10 people have gathered. We ask that you do observe the rule of 10 or less. You did a great job over the weekend. Please continue as the weather improves tomorrow to keeping our police doing other chores that are much more difficult for them to handle. That's it for right at the moment. Back to you, Steve.
Thank you, and that's Kenneth Tavares. He is the Chair of the Plymouth Board of Selectmen. You can send your questions to plymouthinfo@pactv.org. And once again, we have a returning participant. It is Matthew McDonough. He is the Registrar of the Plymouth Probate Court. And Matt, welcome. And what's happened since the last time you were with us?
Hi, Steve. It's been a very eventful 2 weeks since I was last on with you for the probate and family courts. As you as an attorney are probably aware, and some of the public are, we had to close down our Brockton courthouse for just over a week due to a couple of employees who needed to be tested for the COVID-19 virus. Fortunately, and we're very happy to hear, they were tested as negative, and we were able to reopen the courthouse last Friday. As we talked about a couple of weeks ago, this crisis has involved us looking at the way we do business in a whole new way. In situations where we require filings to be done in a certain manner, we've had to come up with imaginative new ways to be able to make sure that people get access to justice. And some of the examples that we've seen are the SJC allowing for electronic signatures, also for electronic notification when normally you have to give in-hand service. We're now allowing for electronic notification with regards to attorneys, and pro se litigants can opt into that system with our offices as well. But what's interesting is one of the things that I've learned as registrar over the last few weeks, although we're definitely going to be making advancements in electronic formats, the most reliable means for us to communicate with the public in an environment where we can't do it face-to-face has been through our telephones. So I just want to reiterate to folks, if you do have any needs of the probate and family court, please feel free to call us. Both of our offices are now currently open. We do have a reduced staff. We've divided our staff into thirds on a 3-day rotation in the registry so that we can maintain, as Ken Tavares spoke about, keeping under 10 people in the office to make sure that they're socially distant and safe while serving the public. Our phone numbers in Plymouth and Brockton are 508-747-6204 at the Plymouth office. And if you're calling the Brockton office, we're at 508-897-5400. Some of the things that you had asked me about, Steve, was whether or not there had been any uptick in do not resuscitate orders, which is a matter of grave importance that we handle in the probate and family court. We haven't seen really an uptick in those types of orders out of local hospitals. We have had a couple in the last few weeks, and obviously we deal with them in a very serious manner out of respect for the families involved. But we do also want to remind folks, Steve, as you had asked, for people who do not have power of attorney and people who are worried about what happens when you go into the hospital and having somebody who can make decisions for you on your behalf, make sure that you use our offices and you can apply for guardianship, emergency guardianships of not only minors, but also for incapacitated persons. That's a very important tool for people to know about when they're trying to make important health decisions in emergency situations in the hospitals. And some of the other areas that we've been helping people where we didn't know if we were going to be able to keep doing it with limited staff, but on our probate matters, believe it or not, people are still closing on their homes, and probate matters routinely involve real estate matters in our office, and we need to get licensed to sell for attorneys to be able to go forward to closings. We've been able to do that working with our local attorneys. So we're trying to keep those cases flowing as well. As we know there are people who may need to make very important decisions about whether or not to sell or buy real estate in a tumultuous economic environment. We will maintain those services within the Plymouth Registry to the best of our ability. And if anybody has any questions for me directly, I always like to give my number at the registry. This is my direct line. I'm at 508-747-8510, and that goes directly to my desk, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible with any questions or concerns that you have.
Thank you. That is Matthew McDonough. He is the Register, Plymouth County Probate Court. You can send your questions to him at plymouthinfo@pactv.org. And today we also welcome a new participant, John Vincent. He is a director for the Massachusetts Funeral Directors Association. Welcome, John.
Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. So here joining you today to just, speak briefly and let everyone know that we as funeral professionals are still here to serve families, to know that we take great pride in caring for the bodies with respect. Yet our most important mission is to help families at a time when they are shocked, grieving, and vulnerable. We're accustomed to working with families in crisis, and we're prepared to help them now. It's important that we follow the health guidelines. We are expert in managing consideration for families we serve, and we have experience with infectious disease. And as always, we carefully follow all codes and regulations. We know that at this time, it's very hard to acknowledge the death of a loved one and begin mourning. And we don't get to spend the time with the body at this time. And this is especially true of families that couldn't be with the dying person's side now at a hospital or a nursing facility. So even though there may be restrictions right now, in some parts of the country, it's not possible. We are working within those restrictions to be assured that many close loved ones can have as many possible opportunities to view the body and say their final goodbyes. We want you to know that spending time with the bodies before cremation also helps people mourn. More and more families are choosing cremation now. And it's important to understand that whether you choose cremation or body burial, it's helpful to spend the last few minutes with the body before cremation or closing of the casket. We want you to know that we are here, and there's a lot of different rumors circulating that you cannot have a funeral right now, but you can. It just has to be private. And once restrictions are lifted, we will still be here to help you plan your memorial. You can't push the pause button on grief. Anything that delays a funeral delays the natural mourning process. If restrictions prevent big gatherings right now, it's best to have a small but immediate ceremony, followed by the all-inclusive larger memorial services in the future. Online funerals are also helping many families. We serve grieving families, and with so many restrictions in place, we are finding creative ways to help them honor the person who has died. We're helping families honor and connect with technology, and we are helping them plan future gatherings. Relationships matter. Togetherness matters. Honoring the lives of each person is unique. Supporting one another matters. And these are reasons we do what we do. And in this difficult time, we are here to help families to the best of our ability with the utmost importance to them. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's John Vincent. He is a director for the Massachusetts Funeral Directors Association. He'll be here for your questions. Email us at plymouth.info@pactv.org. These updates are coming to you live, and each day they are date stamped so that you'll know today is April 13th, and we start at noon. We're now going to continue with the Director of Assessing for the Town of Plymouth, Ann Dunn. Ann, welcome.
Thank you, Steve. So as we have been in our quarantine area, we are still working remotely. It's on a limited basis. And we had an excise commitment of over 60,000 bills. And so the concentration had been to answer all emails, voicemails, and incoming mail regarding any abatements for those vehicles. So that's been our concentration over the last 2 weeks. We are continuing to work on real estate and personal property abatements and all exemptions that have come in. We also have a motor vehicle excise bill that is due in May that we are continuing to work. So it's on a limited basis. So we're doing our best to respond to all voicemails, emails, and any mail that has come in. If anyone has any questions, please call the number 508-747-1620, extension 10296, and that will be answered very quickly. We're trying to keep the number of voicemails down, so we understand this is a hard time for all of us, and not being able to talk to someone makes it even more difficult. But we are continuing to do everything we can to keep work flowing so that we don't have any repercussions when we are able to go back to a full workload. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's Ann Dunn. She's the Director of Assessing for the Town of Plymouth. Next, we have the Library Director for the Town of Plymouth Public Library. We welcome Jennifer Harris. Jennifer, welcome.
Hello. Thank you, Steve, for inviting me. First of all, I want to assure everyone that my staff and the patrons are all missed. I know we're getting phone calls and emails. We are doing the best that we can. We know that you have reading material checked out and you're dying for new reading material. I shouldn't use the word dying. Waiting for new reading material. Your holds are sitting on the shelf. We plan to open the book drop when the time comes. This will all come from the town manager. As a public library welcoming back material, we are looking and researching, as are other libraries, best practices in handling material. I do have a statistic. We currently have 11,330 items out in the world that are checked out from the library. So at some point, all those books are going to come back, and our patrons will want to come rushing in the doors, and we're going to try and make it as safe for the staff and the public. So just to make sure everyone understands, the due dates for all items has been moved to May 4th, which is the expected date at this time to reopen. However, we realize that could change. We will not be accruing any fines. No one will have to bring in their piggy bank to pay off. We had to shut down the book drop so that people weren't putting items in. So please stay at home as they are recommending. We will deal with all this when we're back open. On a happy note, I want to say that this is National Library Week, and traditionally on Wednesday, we host Patron Appreciation Day. since we won't be able to offer you cake and coffee, we're hoping to post some pictures of previous events. The library is doing as much virtual work as they can. Our children's department has postings on Facebook. You can always check that out, and our website, which is www.plymouthpubliclibrary.org. You can click on any of our electronic devices. If you have your library card but don't remember your PIN number, it's OCLN unless you changed it. And you can email us if you click on the contact. We have reference staff and circulation staff who's checking our emails. Personally, I'm coming into the library as the main person keeping the fish alive. We have a beautiful aquarium. So I've learned more about fish in the last month. But I'm also checking the phones and calling people back so that they get some human contact, because we really do miss our public. But please take a minute to realize what you're doing at home. We know that a lot of people are out items. They're getting their old tax documents ready for shredding. And our Plymouth Public Library Corporation is still planning on June 6th to hold our shredded event in the parking lot. We don't know if we'll be able to move forward with that date, but we will eventually. And people can bring boxes of books, boxes of paperwork, and can get shredded in a safe manner. Our corporation is aware that fundraising is challenging all through the town. And so we want to make sure that we're still able to present the programming that's coming up. But our first goal is to make sure we can get people in the library using computers and checking books in and out. I have plenty more to say. I hope I get some questions down the road. Thank you.
And that is Jennifer Harris. She is the library director for the town of Plymouth. And since it is National Library Week, we do observe and congratulate Jennifer and her staff, and certainly all the patrons for the Plymouth Public Library. Each week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're joined by the executive director for the Plymouth Area Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to welcome Amy Naples. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you, Steve. Good to see you all today. I wanted to give you an update on the payroll protection and SBA loan. As of Friday, more than 250,000 small businesses have applied for the loans and are in the process of receiving them, totaling about $100 billion. The PPP application opened on April 3rd for small businesses and on April 10th for self-employed. The U.S. Chamber is urging Congress to act on legislation to provide $250 billion in funding before the initial $350 billion for the PPP runs out. I also want to mention a warning to all businesses that are seeking assistance with the CARES Act. Please be aware of scammers. People are reaching out, claiming they can help with the disaster loans in the PPP. Reach out directly to your business banker, the SBA, or other trusted sources for help. Do not give your financial or personal information to unverified sources. Lastly, if you have not applied, I would act very quickly in doing so. The best place to learn more about those programs is by visiting the SBA.gov. Today, I also want to let viewers know that the restaurants in our community are taking additional steps to ensure the safety of their patrons. A training is being offered by ServeSafe to assist restaurants during the pandemic. For those of you who don't know, ServeSafe is a food safety training required for restaurants to complete and educates them on topics such as cooking temperatures, safe storage, cross-contamination, hygiene, sanitation. And because of the challenges presented by the COVID-19, ServeSafe developed a free certification aimed at restaurants for workers and the customer safety. We've encouraged all of our food service establishments in town to complete the certification, and the chamber is in the process of gathering a list of the restaurants who have done so, and will be informing the public of those restaurants who have completed the certification. This week, we have some great virtual events lined up. On Wednesday at 10 a.m., we'll be having open networking. You can join via Zoom. On Thursday at 4 p.m., we have our happy hour networking, which is BYOB. And on Friday at 10 a.m., we have a weekly webinar on the topic, The Power of Social Media During COVID-19, hosted by Hawk Visuals. Those 3 events are through Zoom. You can find the registration link on the Chamber's Facebook page or, of course, through our email distribution list, which you can sign up for by visiting PlymouthChamber.com. You do not have to be a member to join us for those, and all are welcome. And lastly, if I can be of any assistance on any business-related questions, don't hesitate to reach out via email at amy@PlymouthChamber.com, or certainly call the Chamber office at 508-830-1620. And you can also stay up to date by visiting the Chamber's Facebook page, Plymouth Area Chamber, and the website PlymouthChamber.com. That's the Chamber's update for today, Steve.
Thank you, Amy Naples, Executive Director for the Plymouth Area Chamber of Commerce. Amy talked about scams. She talked about verified sources. And one of the reasons why we do these daily updates is to provide you with verified information from local, state, and federal officials and experts in their field. On Wednesday, we'll be joined with a representative from Congressman Keating's office. And now, as we are each day, we're joined by Plymouth State Representative Matthew Muratore. Welcome, Matt.
Good afternoon, Steve. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone had a great Easter weekend and Passover week. Let's start with numbers today, as we always do. Now, these numbers are as of 10 a.m. yesterday morning, Easter morning, but they are over a 72-hour period from the last time we talked on Friday. So the number of tests have gone up by 21,772 tests. The confirmed cases have gone up by 5,535, and the number of deaths have gone up to 253 since we last talked. So let's put those numbers in perspective a little bit. So there are close to 7 million people in the Commonwealth. So to date, we've had 116,730 folks that have been tested. That's a 1.7% of the population of the Commonwealth has been tested. We have 24,475 that are confirmed with the coronavirus. That's 22% of those that have actually been tested have been confirmed with the coronavirus. And of those, 3% of those confirmed have unfortunately died. That's 756 deaths. And with that, I'll go into a little bit more on the nursing home statistics, the long-term care statistics. But 45 of those 756 deaths have been in long-term care facilities, which are mostly nursing facilities, assisted living, and rest homes. Something that we talked about early on, Steve, way back in the beginning when we all started talking about this, that the most vulnerable population is our folks in our long-term care facilities. And unfortunately, it's coming to fruition, and that's what's happening. In Plymouth County, there are confirmed cases of 2,024, which is less than 1% of the population in Plymouth County. And the same with Plymouth, less than 1% of the population has confirmed with coronavirus. That's 87 Plymouth residents. What I'd like to do is give you the age groups that have been confirmed with cases. Under the age of 19, there have been 554 cases confirmed. Between the ages of 20 and 29, 3,107. Between the ages of 30 and 39, 3,801. Between the ages of 40 to 49, 3,848. Between the ages of 50 and 59, 4,654. Between the ages of 60 and 69, 3,582. Between the ages of 70 and 79, 2,424 cases of confirmed coronavirus. And over 80 years old is 3,297. So you can see by the numbers, Steve, that it's still very consistent across the board. No age group is getting out of this. Obviously, the younger folks, younger than 19, are not getting it as rapidly as every other age group is, but it does not discriminate that way. With regard to the long-term care community, there have been more testing happening at these facilities. To date, there have been 3,050 tested in 199 facilities with at least one positive case. And that's testing, again, in nursing facilities, assisted living, and rest homes. That includes staff as well as residents. And that's almost 700 of those facilities.
No, you can't.
Now, what's new today is that these facilities can actually request tests and actually start testing on their own. So if they just contact DPH through the command center, they can actually start testing their own staff and residents. As of today, that will actually start happening. Some numbers with regard to the personal protection equipment, the PPE that we all hear about. We've been getting a lot of calls and emails from our office on this. People are concerned that their healthcare provider doesn't have enough. And, it's probably the case because it's happening everywhere throughout, not just the Commonwealth, but throughout the United States. But to date, the number of masks that have been the N95 masks that we've talked about, there have been between the Kraft airplane that came in a week or so ago of 91,000. There were additional 31,000 that have been purchased by the Commonwealth as well. So there's over 120,000 masks and 95 masks that are in circulation. With regards to the regular masks, there have been over 705,000 masks that have been ordered and received and distributed since this has started. And the gowns has been over 160,000 gowns and over 40,000 gowns and over 280,000 gloves. And these are just for the Southeast region. This is where we are located, the Southeast region. Overall, there's been, almost 2 million gloves and over 160,000 gowns and, several, 100,000 of masks. So they're still coming in, not as fast as everyone needs them, but they still are coming in. And these facilities know where to order if they need them. They're all going to nursing homes, to hospitals, to community health centers, to the local Board of Health. They're going to the local public safety, the EMS, fire and police, state agencies, and home care and pediatric care organizations as well. And it is an organized way where the masks are being ordered, the mask, gowns, and gloves being ordered through the command center and how they're being distributed through the help of the National Guard. On Friday, the governor has issued an order just to, as an advisory, to remind people to wear masks when you're in public. So if you're in public for any reason whatsoever, wearing masks helps with the decreasing the spread of this virus. So please heed that warning. Chairman Tavares brought up about the storm. Just want to report that Eversource is ready and able to head out when needed. The Plymouth Command Center is fully staffed, and they are on standby, ready to go out and help in any way they can. There are a couple of bills that are working through the State House. One is for evictions and moratoriums on folks that rent or for mortgages you may have. The bill is still being worked on, and there'll be some more, hopefully, language on Wednesday on that. And hopefully by the end of the week, that will reach the governor's desk. I want to touch upon a little bit on what Amy had to say with regards to the stimulus money. There's been a little bit of a change on the stimulus money for those that are on Social Security or are veterans who don't file taxes. You may want to double check that because it looks like the IRS is saying that you may have to file taxes for 2019, a simple 1040 form. So you should reach out to your financial advisor or for your whoever helps you with your taxes to help you with that. And again, as Amy indicated, be careful of the scams that are out there. Knowing this, there's going to be a lot of scams that are going to be out there looking for your information to help you with maybe your 1099 form or 1040 form to file your 2019 taxes, so you can get this extra money. Please, please, please don't do it unless it's a trusted source and you know exactly who it is. We hope, Steve, to later on this week have Sheriff Joe McDonough back on and DA Tim Cruz on to kind of talk about some of those scams that are actually going on, and particularly scams that are happening for our elder folks in our community. So we look forward to that later in the week. And finally, ways that people can help even from a distance. There is the COVID-19 Relief Fund that has been raising millions and millions of dollars since the governor and Lauren Baker, the First Lady of the Commonwealth, put this fund together. It's going to go back to local organizations. So if folks do have some funds and they can help out, feel free to donate to the COVID-19 Relief Fund. If folks want to volunteer, if you have a healthcare background, you want to volunteer, there are volunteer opportunities. As we just talked about, there is a need for PPE, personal protection equipment. If you have some that you can donate, or you have some that you can sell, the state is looking for you to help with that. And as always, giving blood is a need. Everybody, if you can give blood, it can be done very safely. Whether you go to the Red Cross Center, the nearest one to us is in Rainham, or if you can have a location where you can have a blood drive, it can be done safely. But we do need to give blood. So whatever folks can do to help with that, that would be great. And that's my update for today, Steve.
Thank you, Matthew Muratore, Plymouth State Representative. He and Kenneth Tavares are here each day with me, Monday through Friday. Your questions today can go to plymouthinfo@pactv.org. Each week we receive an update from our local Beth Israel Deaconess Plymouth Campus Hospital. And this morning, Christopher Smalley advised us that the hospital continues to see more patients presenting COVID-19 symptoms and or testing positive. The hospital currently has very limited drive-up testing for hospital employees and first responders only, and it's by appointment. The drive-up testing is not yet open to the general public, but if and when it will be by appointment, it would be through one's primary care physician, and this is the partnership with the town of Plymouth. And finally, our hospital employees are grateful for the outpouring of community support from donated PPE and meals and lawn signs being placed on campus. Again, your questions, plymouthinfo@pactv.org. Tomorrow, we'll have a panel that includes Ken Tavares and Matt Muratore joining me. Dr. Philip Triffletti, returning once again. He is an attending primary care physician at Beth Israel Deaconess. Dennis Wood, he's the Assistant Director for the Department of Public Works. Joseph Young, he is the Information Technology Director. Also Michelle Brady, she is the Director of Elder Services in the town of Plymouth. And Stephen Cole, he's the Executive Director for the Plymouth Regional Economic Development Foundation. And at this time, we're going to go back to our questions for today. And our first participant, Matthew McDonough, could you tell us how the phone conferences work with the probate court? Are people sworn in, and are they provided a phone number?
As I said earlier, Steve, it has been an experiment with new technology for us. While the Brockton trial court was closed, we had to deal with the fact that all of our judges and judicial lobby staff were unable to participate in hearings in our remaining open building in Plymouth. So everything had to be done remotely, including keeping our record, accessing mass courts, and creating opportunities for sometimes up to 4-way teleconferencing. I've been able to participate in a couple of those conferences. So far, they are going smooth, and we're creating a record that can be relied upon later for appeals or other matters in the cases that come up. When somebody participates, we vet a case to see if it is an emergency first. We speak with the judicial case manager or the assistant judicial case manager who will communicate with the judge and determine whether, if it's a restraining order, basically all of those are considered to be per se emergencies. Guardianship matters will be reviewed by the judge and the case manager. They then get back to us, and then we make arrangements in the courtroom to telephonically connect the judge and all of the parties. Sometimes we do still have some remaining cases that are scheduled for hearings that the judges wanted to keep on the list, and we handle those telephonically as well. The most recent standing order from the Supreme Judicial Court indicates that the first justice of any division makes the decision about whether or not any person should be allowed into a building. For our purposes, we have not had any in-person hearings since the COVID-19 emergency status has begun. So everything is done telephonically, everything is being preserved on the record, and we make sure that people have access to justice and that their rights are going to be preserved so that they can have their case reviewed at a later time.
Thank you. Matthew McDonough is the Register, Plymouth County Probate Court. John Vincent is a director for the Massachusetts Funeral Directors Association. John, a viewer asked the question, how do you communicate with the loved ones of someone who has passed? Is it by phone, by email, by fax? How can they communicate if they're quarantined and unable to meet with you in person?
So we are finding that I would say the majority of the folks that we're meeting with are doing it via the telephone or through email or with video conferences such as we're doing today. We do have people that still choose to come in and meet with us, but I would say the highest percentage is just doing it via email and through the internet.
Thank you, John. Vincent is a member of the Massachusetts Funeral Directors Association. Ann Dunn, a viewer, indicates that last Monday she paid 3 tax bills. She dropped them off in the town box. And today, on the 13th, the checks haven't cleared. Are they being picked up? Ann Dunn,
We
Director of
have
Assessing.
limited access to town hall, so the mail is being picked up twice a week, and I'm asking everyone to be patient. The posting is being done, but a lot is being done remotely, so it's taking longer than normal. So have faith that it's fine and it will be posted as soon as possible.
Thank you. Ann Dunn is the Director of Assessing, Town of Plymouth. Jennifer Harris, our Library Director. A viewer asks, how do we access any online materials that you have available while the library is closed?
Boy, I'm glad someone asked that question because that's on my notes. So it does help if you have a library card. You go to our website, plymouthpubliclibrary.org. You click on databases and the world opens up. You have access to Gale databases is if you're doing any research, it's all for free. Ancestry.com has opened up to, if you feel like doing your genealogy research. We are finding that there was a little glitch, so we recommend you go to Boston Public Library and click on Ancestry.com. Again, that's all free. We have 3 other downloadable type databases. One is called Overdrive. That's where if you like to read downloadable ebooks. We also have Hoopla, which is really primarily music, but also audiobooks and downloadable ebooks. And we have another database called Canopy, which really is about independent movies and your PBS series, your great courses if you want to learn. So you need your library card. And then everyone was issued the same password or PIN number is called OCLN. If any of you have any difficulties, please go on our website and click on Contact Us. There are email addresses. And before I give back the stage, can I just remind everyone to fill out your census? Our goal was to participate and encourage as many people in the town of Plymouth. This is how federal dollars are divided and sent. We want everyone counted in Plymouth. The library was going to open up computers. Hopefully, when we are back to the public, if you don't have a computer, you can call and you can actually just go ahead on census2020.gov and fill out your census right there, which I already did mine. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer Harris, Library Director, Plymouth Public Library for the town of Plymouth. And at this point, we're going to go to Kenneth Tavares, the Chair of the Plymouth Board of Selectmen. Ken, a couple of questions. First, when can we renew our transfer station permit? And when will you be confirming that tax bills can be delayed from May 1 to June 1?
The delay or any concessions on the tax bills will be worked on by the Board of Selectmen tomorrow. We're meeting at 1:30, and by the end of that meeting, there will be a decision made as to what the town can offer as concessions. I will get back to you tomorrow in regards to the transfer station permission to use the facility. The permits are good, of course, now through June 30th, and much of it will depend on when we get back into the building and are able to renew the permits. But I'll have more detail for you tomorrow.
Thank you. Amy Naples, Executive Director, Plymouth Area Chamber of Commerce. The viewer writes, you've told us about a number of services from the Plymouth Area Chamber of Commerce. Is it limited to just members?
No, It varies. So we do have member and non-member pricing for our typical events that people can attend, or for our larger scaled events like the Waterfront Festival, Bark in the Park, and our signature events at our annual meeting. For now, all of the virtual events are open for members and non-members. The chamber is open for business, and we are in the business to help businesses, and we're certainly doing so for everybody during this time.
Thank you. For Matt Muratore, Plymouth State Representative, 3 questions. Is the state taking any statewide action regarding real estate tax bills? Can you give an update on the remote notarization? And finally, is Massachusetts third behind New York and New Jersey with COVID-19 cases?
Let me start with the latter one first. If you look at the percentages, the answer is Massachusetts is doing better. Remember, the New York, we have almost 7 million people here in Massachusetts. In the state of New York, they have almost 20 million people. So if you look at the percentages, I think we're doing better. With regard to the state real estate tax, the legislation we did is what the chairman was just talking about, to allow municipalities to actually delay the receipt of real estate taxes, property taxes. So I think that's one way to do it. I'm not aware of any other way at this point, but there's all sorts of legislation that's coming forward on a daily basis. So we'll have to stay tuned for that. And I'm sorry, Steve, what was the middle question again?
Remote notaries.
Oh, yeah. That is still being worked on.
Thank you.
Nothing on.
Plymouth Representative Matthew Muratore. And each day we go back to each of our participants and ask each of them to give us a closing statement, final takeaway as to what you'd like the viewers to remember today. We're going to begin with Matthew McDonough, Register, Plymouth County Probate Court. Matt, what do you want people to remember?
Hang on. I think I muted myself. Sorry about that. Thank you, Steve. I just want the residents of Plymouth County to know that the registry and the probate and family court are operational. We're doing everything remotely over the phone. If you do need us, please feel free to call us at the Plymouth office at 508-747-8510, or in the Brockton office, which was recently reopened, at 508-897-5400. For the most part, we're handling emergencies such as restraining orders and guardianships. But we take each case on a case-by-case basis to analyze whether or not it's something that isn't an emergency. And we make sure that people are being heard telephonically as soon as possible. We just ask that everybody remain safe and at home, and we'll be up and running as soon as we possibly can. And we look forward to seeing everybody soon in a safe manner.
Thank you. Matthew McDonough, Register, Plymouth County Probate Court. And now we're going to go to John Vincent, who is a director for the Massachusetts Funeral Directors Association. John, people have been watching throughout the hour. What would you like them to remember?
We just want everyone to know that we're here to help you in any way possible. Reach out to us via phone, email, social media. You may reach us by phone at 508-746-2162, or you can reach me by email, jvincentfuneraldirector@gmail.com. And if you have any questions or addresses, anything to concern you, please reach out. And we just hope you all stay safe and healthy during these terrible times.
That is John Vincent. He is a director for the Massachusetts Funeral Directors Association. We next go to the Director of Assessing for the town of Plymouth, Ann Dunn. What would be a takeaway message you'd like our viewers to remember?
As Mr. Tavares has stated, the Board of Selectmen will look at local options in regarding to the payments of all bills that were due after March 10th. As soon as we are aware of that decision, we'll post any information that's pertinent to any exemptions or payments on our website. So I just ask that you look at the town's website. There's a lot of information out there. If you have any questions, you can call me directly at the town hall number, 508-747-1620, extension 10156. And there is also a link on the town's website if you'd like to email me, or email me directly at adunn@townhall.plymouth.ma.us. And I just want to say thank you, Steve, for this opportunity.
Thank you. Director of Assessing for the town of Plymouth, Ann Dunn. And we're next going to go to the library director for the Plymouth Public Library. Jennifer Harris, at your opening statement, you said you had some more things to tell us. Before we have a closing statement, what are those things you want us to tell? No.
Well, first of all, I wanted to share what book I'm reading, the library book by Susan Orleans. So one of my questions for the public is, what book are you reading? Feel free to go on the library's Facebook page and tell us, give us a piece of information. We're also preparing for our summer reading program, which one of the featured books will be Grading Sweetgrass. This is inspired by the Plymouth 400th celebration, so we plan to continue with a full summer reading program in whatever form it takes. I wanted to take a moment to express some gratitude, first of all, to the town manager and town management for their forward thinking and closing in the way they did. It protected our staff and it protects our public, which has been a great benefit to all of us. And of course, I have to thank the town for funding the roof project, which would have been taking, if we weren't doing it last year, we'd be doing it this year. And thank God that it was done last year because it wouldn't have happened. So I'm very grateful, and everyone stay well. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer Harris, library director for the town of Plymouth. We're now going back to Amy Naples, executive director of Plymouth Area Chamber of Commerce. Amy, what should we take away from today's program?
As always, it's my plea to the community, please consider supporting our local businesses. They need us now more than ever. This also holds true for our local nonprofits. Any size purchase or donation is very meaningful to them right now. If you cannot financially do so, leaving a positive Yelp, Facebook review is very, very helpful for them. You can also share what they're posting to your Facebook page, and that's going to help them as well. We are in this together, and the chamber's here to help in any possible way. So distance socially and support locally.
Amy Naples is the executive director for the Plymouth Area Chamber of Commerce. We're now returning to State Representative Matthew Muratore. A closing statement, Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Steve, and thanks to all our participants. Great input today. We appreciate that. As a reminder, just stay informed. You can stay informed by going to mass.gov/COVID-19. If you have questions, contact myself, my office, myself or Betty DeBenedictis. We'll get back to you. We'll help you out in anything we can help you with, answer any questions. You can also call the state number, which is 211. If you want to get text alerts, which is the best way to find out what's happening, text COVID-MA to 888-777. And if you have questions on your health, go to bowie.com/mass, M-A-S-S. Also, just stay calm. We are in the surge now. We will see these numbers skyrocket up, but the curve will be flat at some point over the next week or two. So we will get through this. Be sure that by staying calm, you wear your mask if you're outside. And again, we will get through this. And more importantly, stay home. If you don't need to be out at all, please don't. If you have to go to the grocery store or the pharmacy, just one person in the family go. If you need help, please reach out. If you're an elder, please reach out to neighbors or to our active living folks through Michelle, through the senior center. But remember, the more we come together by staying apart, the faster we'll get back to the people that we love and the things that we love to do. So thanks again, Steve, to you and to PAC TV.
Thank you, Matthew Muratore, Plymouth State Representative. In addition to the daily updates, each week the town manager provides her report, and there was a report this morning, April 13th, 2020. It's a fairly lengthy report, but of noteworthy information. She talks about the town meeting warrants and potential discussion on paring down the number of articles. You'll hear more about this going forward, but at this time, we're going to go back to the Selectman Chair, Kenneth Tavares, for his closing statement. Ken.
Thank you, Steve. To the community, we are making progress. I know this is our 23rd program that we've done, and some days it seems like it's more than that. But the community is anticipating questions now. We're acting ahead of time, and that's because each and every one of you are participating, and we do appreciate it. I'll end with what I've been saying the last couple of weeks. Please keep to the 6-foot rule, wash those hands, and please, going forward, wear a mask if you're out and about in the community. All of this adds up to saving lives and preventing those that we love so much from becoming ill. Thank you, and to everyone that's been participating in the program. We have a wide variety of the community that's been represented, and we do hope that this information is beneficial to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Kenneth Tavares is the chair of the Plymouth Board of Selectmen. He and Matthew Muratore and I were joined today by a number of participants. They included Matthew McDonough, the Register of Plymouth County Probate Court, John Vincent, a member of the Massachusetts Funeral Directors Association. Also, we heard from Ian Dunn. She's the Director of Assessing for the Town of Plymouth. Jennifer Harris, the Library Director for the Plymouth Public Library. Amy Naples, the Executive Director, Plymouth Area Chamber of Commerce. They'll be coming to you each day, Monday through Friday. Tomorrow, our guests include Dr. Philip Triffletti. He is a primary care physician with Beth Israel Deaconess, and among other things, he'll be showing us how to put on a mask and take off a mask now that we have the governor's advisory to wear masks in public. We'll also be hearing from Dennis Wood. He is the Assistant Director for the Department of Public Works in Plymouth. And Joseph Young, he is the Information Technology Director. Michelle Brady, she is the Director of Elder Services in the Town of Plymouth. Also, Stephen Cole, he's the Executive Director for the Plymouth Regional Economic Development Foundation. We're coming to you each day live from PAC TV studios. I am Steve Triffletti, Plymouth Town Moderator. Thank you for joining us, and good day.